Hope everyone's having a good time tonight. We've got a lot of activity, good band, good food, good wine, and some fantastic people here. Really appreciate everybody coming out tonight. Anyone that's bought art, I appreciate your generosity. I'd like to welcome everyone to the second annual Fresh Canvas Party. My name is Lorenzo Esparza, and I have the privilege of serving as the board chair of the Cancer Support Community Benjamin Center. On behalf of our staff, volunteers, the board, and most importantly, our community, I want to thank all of you for celebrating with us tonight. Over 30 years ago, Harold and Harriet Benjamin started the Wellness Community, and they opened the doors of a little yellow house in Santa Monica. It was called the Wellness Community. It was the first organization of its kind to offer group support, individual counseling, mind-body classes, education, social activities, and support for people with cancer and their supportive families. In 2009, the Wellness Community merged with Gilda's Club. Today, we are now an international organization with over 50 centers around the world. The Cancer Support Community is where it all began. We are so grateful that after all the many years we have been in service, we've never charged a penny for what we do. Yeah. And that is a result of all the generosity of the people like those of you in this room tonight. Thank you. These are not easy times for organizations such as ours, and they're not easy times for anyone dealing with cancer, ever. It's so important to us at the Cancer Support Community that no one who walks through our doors need ever worry about how to pay for our services. And these services are essential. If you have had cancer, or if you know anyone with cancer, then you know how challenging this disease is. It's challenging on the family, it's challenging on finances, and it's challenging on the spirit. We've had people tell us, "You kept our family together." We've had people come and say, "There's no treatment left for me. Thank God I have the Cancer Support Community." The gratitude that we hear constantly reminds us how important the work that we do in Los Angeles truly is. Now, I will tell you we have a very exciting event planned for you tonight. Thank you for coming. Our gallery, to my left, has over 80 artworks by 30 artists, and there's an amazing, diverse collection of pieces, paintings and photographs. These artists have donated very generously their time and their talent to help support the Cancer Support Community, and we are incredibly grateful for their generosity. In particular, I want to thank Lois Lambert of the Lois Lambert Gallery at Bergamot Station. She brought many of the talented artists to the Fresh Canvas Gallery tonight, so thank you, Lois. I also want you to know that when you purchase this evening, you are directly supporting the services that are free that support our community, and thank you for doing so. I also want you to know there's an amazing opportunity to pick up a unique piece. If you've been near the front, you may have seen it. It's a piece that was done by Ernie Holzman. It's entitled LAX, and it's a very interesting piece. Ernie has very generously donated this piece. It's worth $2,500, so if you'd like to buy tickets, our front counter is facilitating that opportunity. And I will tell you, in the spirit of keeping our past connected to our present, there's a little yellow box. It's actually not that little, in the back. It's a replica of the original house that was created by Harold and Harriet Benjamin. The very top of it has a slot, so if anyone cares to make a donation, we certainly appreciate you doing that. please give tonight and know that you will help keep the services we offer free. Now, I will tell you, I think tonight is very special. We are honoring someone that is one of our own community members. We're honoring this person with one of our awards, or our specific award, the Gilda. The Gilda Award, as many of you may have surmised already, is named after Gilda Radner. She was an iconic figure on Saturday Night Live. She was a fantastic comedian and actress, and she used our services at the wellness community during her own fight with ovarian cancer. Gilda was courageous, she was funny, and she was honest. She inspired not only a generation of comics, but cancer patients all over the world. So we are pleased to continue her legacy with this award and to honor one of our members. We're happy to continue the legacy of humor at the cancer support community by having some great comedians here tonight, and I will tell you, you're in store for some fun. But first, I want to give a very heartfelt thank you to all of our sponsors. Thank you to our platinum sponsor, Joyce Eisenberg Kiefer. Joyce, you have been incredibly generous over the years, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I want to thank our gold sponsor, Comedy Central. My wife and I watch that channel quite frequently. Not with our kids, though, I can tell you that. Some of the shows, actually. Anyway, our silver sponsors, Insperity, Ruth Weil, Annie Benjamin, Lauren Benjamin, and David and Ann Gooding. Thank you all so much. I'd also like to thank our in-kind sponsors. Aviation American Gen, I don't know if any of you tried it. I will tell you it's fantastic. And a friend of mine, Tom Mooney, when I asked him to step forward and give us some assistance, it was without hesitation that he did so. So thank you, Tom, and thank you, Aviation Gen. I also want to thank the Wine House. I think they have the best wine selection in Los Angeles with fair and reasonable prices, and they've provided the wine this evening. And finally, Icelandic glacial water for the water we're drinking tonight. Again, thank you. I want to thank my colleagues on the board that have really served tirelessly with me. But in particular, I want to thank my friend Pat Kennedy and her brother Ken. They spent many hours helping with the artwork and the details, put a lot of hours into putting this event together, and I really appreciate that. Speaking of the event committee, I also want to thank Jeff and Cecilia Asaf, Annie Benjamin, my beautiful wife Tanya Esparza, Joyce Green, I think I see you out there, Ernie and Terry Holzman, Mel Kiefer over here, Lois Lambert, and my colleague on the board, Lee and Kimberly West. And especially to all of our volunteers tonight, you have all been amazing, and thank you so much for what you've done. You're making this evening a real success. Now I'd like to introduce somebody who's definitely more important than me, Dr. Daniel Lieber. Dr. Lieber will be presenting the Gilda Award tonight to our honoree. And let me tell you a little bit about this wonderful physician. Dr. Lieber is part of the Cancer Support Community's advisory board. He is with the Angeles Clinic and Research Institute. And Dr. Lieber is a board-certified, fellowship-trained medical oncologist and internal medicine physician. He earned his medical degree from the University of California, Los Angeles. Dr. Lieber consults daily with national and international oncological practitioners, where he is a thought leader in the treatment of cancer patients. Those who know Dr. Lieber can attest to his warmth, his compassion, and his astute professionalism. Dr. Lieber gets it, and we think he's pretty special. You see, Dr. Lieber creates an atmosphere of calm and caring for each of his patients. Indeed, this is important in the emotional chaos that occurs when one is facing a life-threatening diagnosis. We are so pleased that Dr. Lieber is here with us tonight. Put your hands together, and please welcome Dr. Daniel Lieber.
I'd like to meet Dr. Lieber. Jack and me have become very good friends over the years, so in the spirit of friendship, I deliver the following. When Jack first called me and asked me to give him this award, the first thing that went through my mind was, who else did he ask first? But I couldn't tolerate the begging and the crying, so I said, okay. The next thing I did was call Julia Forth of the cancer support community. And I asked her why the cancer support community was giving Jack the award. And she told me that everyone here thought that he was such a wonderful person, a giving person, kind, altruistic, and he exemplified everything that this community represented. So I thought, okay, I ought to ask her, because when you're a doctor, people will tell you intimate details of their life, and you're not really sure what you can divulge. So I thought I'd ask her whether I could divulge some of the intimate details that Jack had told me. For instance, I thought it would be, you might want to know that he single-handedly foiled a hijacking on a TWA jet. Even though blinded by 100 terrorist bullets, he saved his comrades and all the passengers, but Julia told me, no, that was secret military information, so I can't tell you about that. And after that, he told me he had been the first visually impaired CIA assassin. And I asked Julia whether I could mention that, and she said, no, that was government secret, so I'm not telling you about that. And then he told me that he single-handedly stopped human trafficking in the Gambia. And I asked Julia whether I could tell you about that, and she said, no, I couldn't. That was privileged State Department information. And in Jack's latest hijinks that I found out about, he got the IRS to look into the television industry, but you're not supposed to know about that either. So now that I knew what I wasn't supposed to talk about, I decided I would tell you about what I knew from personal experience. And what Julia didn't know and what the wellness community didn't know was what it was like for Jack to go through what he went through with his illness and treatment. And I have to say that seeing him day in and day out and his family for a long period of time, he is somebody who I developed great respect and admiration for because of his courage, his honesty, his dignity, his loving kindness for the staff and his family. And that's a humbling experience even for a doctor, because we as doctors meet people who we learn from. We learn from every experience, but we often think, would I be that person if I were ill? So I learned a lot from Jack. And therefore, I was deeply honored by Jack to be asked to give this award. And it's a great privilege to give you this award, Jack. Jack.
Thank you.
Give it up for Dan Lieber, rock and roll oncologist. His comedy album's coming out on Comedy Central Records this fall, so look out for it. I'm here tonight because of Dr. Lieber. I owe him my undying thanks for saving me from cancer, so I can be here tonight with my family and my wife and my kids and my friends. And also for my nurse, Nellie Northcross, who was on the front lines of battle with me every day and would hold my hand and knew that I was deathly afraid of needles, so she made it very easy for me. And Nellie, no one puts an IV in like you do, and thank you for all your help and support during my treatment. I'd also like to thank everyone for coming. I'd like to thank Teresa Bond, Lorenzo Esparza, Julia Ford, Jennifer Cook, and everybody else at the cancer support community. And for Ruth Salk, who runs the Wellness Connection at the cancer support community, which is a great group. And is a great time on Monday nights for everybody to get together and talk about not only cancer, but everything else that goes on in their lives. And it's just a great time to spend Monday nights. You don't even have to have cancer to go. You can just go hang out with a group of great people. As I look around the room, I see family, and I see friends. I see people I haven't seen in a long time. People who have traveled short distances, people who have traveled long distances. We've had great music tonight. We've had great art, great food and drinks. We're going to have a great comedy show later. And I think to myself, I had to have one of my balls removed for this? I mean, couldn't we have skipped the surgery and just gone right to the party? When I first received the call from Teresa that I was being honored with this award, I thought there had to be some mistake. I'm like, me? Gilda Radner? I mean, doesn't add up. I mean, she was a comedy icon who conquered TV, Broadway, and the movies. And me? Well, I'm wearing pimp shoes. But the more I thought about it, I realized Gilda and I had some things in common. We both like to make people laugh. We both had cancer. And we're both women. I first saw Gilda on Saturday Night Live when I was a little kid. And she quickly became one of my comedy heroes. Her characters became part of the cultural zeitgeist. Rosanna Dana, Emily Latella, Lisa Lukner, and Baba Wawa. I used to put on my mother's wig and sunglasses and do impressions of all these characters, whether anyone wanted to hear them or not. I remember hearing that Gilda was sick and diagnosed with ovarian cancer. As a kid, I wasn't even sure what ovaries were, let alone cancer, but I knew it sounded bad. But what I didn't know was this. Gilda would become my hero in another unexpected way, in a way she battled cancer, with courage, humility, and most importantly, with laughter. Gilda's brother, Michael Radner, had this to say about his famous sister. Gilda loved to laugh. She loved the sound of laughter of all kinds. Her journey through life was all about celebrating the good, the great, and the funny. She laughed with us, and about herself. And laughter to her, as a cancer patient, became the best form of quality of life. Take it from me, it's hard to laugh at cancer. It's hard to laugh when it so aggressively and randomly takes and almost never gives. It's hard to laugh after you've been poked and examined and scanned and x-rayed and stuck with needles countless times. and it's hard to laugh after that second or third or even fourth round of chemo knocks you on your ass and you can't even get off your couch. It's hard to laugh while you watch your 2-year-old son play in his crib and you don't know if you're going to live or die. It's hard to laugh when you hear the words, "You have cancer." You know the words are in English, but at the same time, the words are so foreign, so backwards, and so crazy, your brain desperately and confusingly tries to process it. It's also hard to laugh when you find out you have cancer in your testicle. Okay, that's actually kind of funny. Testicle's a funny word. And it's a little embarrassing. You know, I think actually, if everybody could help me out a minute, if everyone just yelled testicle really loud, it wouldn't be so uncomfortable. Can everyone do that for me? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now everybody say balls. Balls! I can't believe I just got a whole room of people to yell balls and testicle. Hang on. Do you actually mind if I tweet that out? Hang on. Just got a whole room of people to say balls and testicle. Hashtag bucket list. Oh, look at this. Hang on, my phone's acting crazy. All right. The word testicle is funny, but it's hard to laugh when you find out 3 months after your surgery that the cancer has returned. On February 13th, 2007, after 3 months of clean blood work and chest x-rays, Dr. Lieber called me and Jennifer during dinner, thank you, to tell me that the cancer had shown up in my liver and in the lymph nodes in my abdomen. I had to go on anti-cancer drugs right away, and I was to have 4 rounds of chemotherapy from February to May. Needless to say, we didn't have dessert. Since we wanted to have more kids, Dr. Lieber instructed us to go down to the local sperm bank to make a deposit. So the next day, which just happened to be Valentine's Day, Jennifer and I drove to the sperm bank and had the most romantic 5 minutes we've ever had together. Her, me, behind closed doors, penthouse magazines, and a plastic cup. It was just like our wedding night all over again. I spent the next 3 months in and out of St. John's Hospital and the Angeles Clinic getting poked, prodded, scanned, and examined and x-rayed. And when that was over, I got poked, prodded, scanned, examined, and x-rayed again, with each round of chemo presenting its own special array of good times. It's no accident that each chemo treatment is called a round, like the rounds of a heavyweight boxing match. You're in your corner, and you're desperately trying to knock cancer out before it takes you out. You just hope you have the Cus D'Amato and Angelo Dundee of oncologists in your corner, and thankfully I had Dan Lieber. But as hard as you fight, you still have to wait for the decision. My decision came on May 24th, 2007. After months of chemo, needles, and nausea, I spent the day with my son Jackson at Chuck E. Cheese. It's a great place if no one's ever been there. I mean, the rides are just amazing. He was playing in the maze when I got the call from Dr. Lieber on my cell phone. He called me and said he had the results, and I was terrified. But he called to tell me that I was in full remission. Thank you very much. And after months of looking at my son and wondering if I was going to make it to his next birthday, I put my arms around him and told him I was going to be okay. Cancer is a strange gift. You can't re-gift it because no one wants it. And you can't return it because no one will take it back. Believe me, if my wife could find a way to return it, she would have. She's really good at it. Just ask everybody at Nordstrom. Love you. But once you've had cancer, it's the gift that keeps on giving. It's always on the back of your mind. It reminds you on those days when you're crazed and busy to slow down and enjoy your life. It reminds you that when you're stuck in traffic on the 405 and you're late for an appointment, that you've been through worse. It reminds you that work can wait and to leave the office early to go home to play with your kids. It reminds us to take the time out and call your parents and our friends to let them know that you love them and that you're thinking about them. And sometimes it reminds us just to go and just enjoy the world. The color of the sky, the smell of a flower, the sun shining on your face, and the taste of a double-double with animal fries and a vanilla shake. It also reminds us not to take life so seriously, and as Gilda demonstrated, to face each day with wonder and laughter. And for the times it's hard to find the laughter, there is the beacon that is the cancer support community. Founded in 1982 by Dr. Harold Benjamin, the CSC was built upon the principle that no one should face cancer alone. Offering support groups, mind and body classes, educational and nutritional workshops, social activities, and individual counseling sessions, all free of charge, the CSC is home to cancer patients and survivors alike. Gilda was one of the first participants in the cancer support community and also one of its early advocates. "We call this the world's greatest club," she said. "The only problem is the price of admission. You have to have cancer." Like Gilda before me, I came to the cancer support community because I was looking for fellow travelers, people who had been through what I had been through and had seen what I had seen, veterans of their own wars, who had been on the front lines like I had and had lived to tell the tale. I wanted to be with people who had battled cancer or who were battling cancer and had answers to my questions, like, will my cancer come back? How do I adjust to a normal life? And is there free parking? Good to know. I'm not so sure that I received all of the answers to my questions, but what I found was a group of comrades in arms who were welcoming, supportive, and very huggy. They like to hug a lot. We like to hug a lot. We have celebrated great triumphs, such as the births of our children, or beating cancer for the second, third, or even fourth time. And we have also mourned great losses. For me, it has become a home away from home. And even if there are long stretches of time when I'm not able to go to the group, I'm always thinking about everybody. And I know that the group will always be there when I need it. I said earlier that cancer is a strange gift. To borrow from Forrest Gump, cancer is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. I know without cancer, I wouldn't be here tonight. I know without cancer, I wouldn't have met my incredible doctors and nurses at the Angelus Clinic in St. John's Hospital. They may have started out as doctors and nurses, but they ended up becoming my friends. Without cancer, I never would have met Ruth Salk or any of my wonderful brothers and sisters who show up to the Wellness Connection every Monday night. To my fellow group members who are here, I say thank you for welcoming me with open arms. Thank you for listening to me without judgment. And thank you for comforting me during those times when no one else but you guys couldn't understand what I was going through. But cancer doesn't give without taking away. Cancer has given me my fair share of loss, like the deaths of friends and family members. Tonight, I'd like to honor their memories by dedicating this award to them. My niece, Holly Gedman. My friends, David Spancer, Dorota Kubiak, and Matthew Lewis. My Aunt Joan Martin, my Uncle Joe Santo, and my dog, Calvin, who would be very excited by all the food that's here tonight. They fought all of their battles. Let me try this over again. They fought all of their battles with courage, humor, grace, and fur. I know they were always with me, and this award is for them. Thank you. As a cancer patient, you never know what's next. That's true for all of us. When I was in that sperm bank on Valentine's Day on 2007, I had no idea that on Valentine's Day 2009, 2 years to the date, we would find out that Jennifer was pregnant with our twin girls, Ava and Eliza. They are our little miracle babies. Hi, honey. Hi, baby. Silly. Daddy's talking, sit down. I certainly never saw that coming, but I also never thought I'd be standing in a room full of people talking about my balls. But I digress. Cancer has taught me to embrace the beauty of life and all of its uncertainties. As Gilda wrote, I always wanted a happy ending. Now I've learned the hard way that some poems don't rhyme and some stories don't have a clear beginning, middle, or end. Life is about not knowing, having to change, taking the moment, and making the best of it without knowing what is going to happen next. Delicious ambiguity. Or as Rosanna Dana said, it just goes to show you, it's always something. Thank you very much. Have a good night. That was just the first paragraph. So if everyone just wants to settle in, we'll have a little bit more happening. Hi, babies. Hello. How are you? You guys all want to come up here? You want to come up here? No. Come here. Okay, they just want to sit there. Jackson, you want to come up? Okay. Here's my son, Jackson. As long as everyone's coming up, can I actually call a few people up here? My mom, Jean Herrguth. And my brother, Ken Herrguth. My sisters, Kim and Lori. And my wife, Jennifer. And my in-laws, Michael and Joan Flamhaft. Let's come up really quick. Say hello. Say hello. Okay. I just wanted to say really quick that in addition to Dr. Lieber and Nellie Northcross and Ruth and everybody else who helped me during my treatment, these people you hear in front of you were amazing, and they showed up to help me and Jennifer when I was sick and going through treatments. They would come to the hospital and visit me, or they would give the rides to Jackson and pick him up from school when no one could help. And I just wanted to say thank you to them and to my wife, who showed up every day to the hospital after taking Jackson to school and taking care of him. And then she would spend the day with me at the hospital and sleep on a cot all night long and then get up the next morning and take Jackson to school and do it all over again every single day. I love you, and I love everybody else, and thank you so much for taking care of me.